So let us discuss about the 21st July 2015 newspaper. In this, just I want to give a background related to India-United States Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. What is its present status? And what are the challenges to the nuclear cooperation of India with the world? A critical analysis of this particular agreement, why there is a slow pace on this agreement. So these are the things we need to understand. But however, in this article, whatever is written, it is mostly about the circumstances or events that have happened at that point of time. Academically, nothing is strong with regard to these topics. So, but however, there are two important points. That is what is anything, a deal or an agreement, if it has to be sold to the people, or if it has to be implanted into the minds of the people, it has to be presented in such a way that it is meant to satisfy their needs. It is meant for a solution to the problem that is existing in the country. It has to be as simple as possible for the understanding of a common man. If you make it too technical, then the acceptance of the deal may come down. So, the nuclear deal with United States, it was accepted by the people of India because of this simplistic presentation. It is not only with this case, anywhere, anything that is well presented to the people made them an understanding that is simple, then wider acceptability is possible. Now in this context, let us see this deal from different perspectives and evolution of the nuclear journey of India. Now, the first thing is Indian nuclear journey. I have classified it as this. The first year, there is 1947 to 1974. It is a peaceful nuclear program. During this era, under the headmanship or chairmanship of Mr. Homi J. Bhabha, we have developed our three-stage nuclear program and also indigenous nuclear technology. 1974 to 1998, nuclear bomb for the peaceful explosions are, we have Buddha Loft. That's what is the incident that happened. So 1974 to 1998, the internal circumstances in India and also the Indira Gandhi's need to prove for a strongmanship. So these are all led to the explosion of a bomb, that is Buddha Loft. In 1998, during the NDA government, India strategically agreed or mentioned itself as a nuclear power. It has established itself as a nuclear power and declared itself as a nuclear power. It means an assertive nuclear power has started establishing India, that is from 1998 onwards. So a step ahead of this scenario is with the so-called as the Indo-US Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. Why this agreement is important is, for the first time, India has used international rules to its advantage. India was able to bend the international rules to its advantage. It's a diplomatic success to India. And equally it was a diplomatic success to United States of America. Now, in USA there is something called 123 section of US Energy Security Act. So Atomic Energy Act, United States Atomic Energy Act, this 123 section, what it does is, United States to come in cooperation, nuclear cooperation with any country, it has to make an agreement, and this agreement shall expect the other countries to accept at least 9 binding commitments. The binding commitments include full scope safeguards too. It means that it shall not misuse these particular nuclear materials which are being supplied to them, and all the nuclear establishments in the country, it shall come under IAEA. So they shall be open for inspection. They shall be open for inspection. Now, in the case of India, the Hyde Act, it has provided an exception to this 123 agreement or 123 section. So what the Hyde Act said is that it provided an exception to India from that full scope safeguards. So here IAEA, it has passed India specific safeguards agreement. So this Hyde Act made that India has to follow this specific safeguards that are meant for it by the IAEA. So what are these IAEA specific safeguards mechanism? India's nuclear reactors, they will be separated into civil and military nuclear reactors. They will be separated as civil and military nuclear reactors. The civil nuclear reactors, they will be open for the inspection by the IAEA. They come under the IAEA safeguards. These military, which India itself can decide what can be military and what can be civil, so they do not come under any inspections or verifications. So this is what is India specific safeguards with IAEA, which India and IAEA has agreed. So the next is NSG waiver. What is meant by this NSG waiver? NSG is a cartel of nuclear supplying nations, and it was created against India in 1974 when it has tested a bomb. So now any country, if it has to receive a nuclear material, the country shall be the signatory of the NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So now for India, because of its history of the peaceful use of the nuclear energy and technology, and its nuclear doctrine, no first use policy, credible minimal deterrence, all these things they have taken into consideration, and India was given a waiver. That is, in spite India is not being a member of, not signed the NPT, India will receive the nuclear supplies, and these members of this cartel, they can come in nuclear cooperation agreement with India, and they can supply the nuclear material to India. This is what is called as the NSG waiver. Now India is redefining its nuclear material export control regimes, etc., to enter as a member into NSG. India, without signing NPT, if it is entering as a member of NSG, if it can enter as a member of NSG, that itself is a victory for India. Now the present status is, yes, India can receive the nuclear material, and Indian civil nuclear establishments, which were separated from military establishments, the last one in 2014, the civil establishments, they come under IAEA inspections. And the third thing is, the enrichment and reprocessing technologies are also agreed to be provided under this. So this is about NSG waiver. The present status is India wants to become a member of NSG, Wassenaar Agreement, Australia Group. Next is FMCT. So these are the things which it wanted to complete. And these are the things. Now, if you can recollect the last week, so do we need to have a nuclear technology? Is a nuclear technology is a solution for India's challenges? One is the delays. Brahma Challani's article, if you can remember. So the nuclear projects are delayed worldwide and cost overruns. The unit cost of the electricity produced is too expensive. The technical and commercial viability, different types of reactors they are being produced by different countries. To what extent the operator can manage them. Next is liability issues. So there are two issues over here. One is a right to recourse. It means the operator can recourse to a supplier. Operator can recourse to a supplier in the case of a defective equipment. That is what is the first thing. And the second thing is not this particular liabilities were restricted only to the nuclear liability law. They can also be challenged under any other law. For example, environmental law and also public safety laws. So they can be booked under any other criminal laws for that particular matter. So not just under the civil nuclear law. So these two provisions are being opposed by United States and the other countries. And next is, in every country, especially United States and Australia, they wanted to have a country-specific tracking mechanism for the nuclear material they supply. India agreed that it will have one single mechanism to supply track the material. But with regard to US, it has made an exception, and the Australia wants to have such an exception too. And it was agreed, ENR technologies, enrichment and reprocessing technology, which are critical for India's the self-sufficiency in nuclear energy. So these ENR technologies were not being transferred by the United States. So entry into NSG, MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, WASNR and Australia Group. So this is what is still not happened with regard to India is concerned. So that is the reason why we can say that India-USA nuclear agreement did not move forward on the expected lines. Now you can write a question over here. India-US nuclear partnership or cooperation, it appears as an established diplomatic victory for India. But in practice, India gained a little in spite of its huge diplomatic investments. Comment. You can try to answer something for this. Next is the Japan. Already we have discussed this. Japan is a pacifist constitution. Now, why the Japan wanted to bring in this security laws? The first thing is, the China's rise. And Abe himself is a nationalistic choice, and it has got, he is on the rightist side, and he has to face the rising China. That is the reason why the self-defense is moved towards collective self-defense under these new security laws. Under United States pivot to Asia, Japan is an important partner in this context with regard to its own security and also in the security related to the region. A new guidelines, security guidelines were signed between US and Japan. In this, Japan was asked to take the greater responsibility in their bilateral security arrangement. So these two have influenced strongly the Japan to bring in these security bills. These security bills makes the Japan to send its troops overseas, though immediately or directly its interests are not getting damaged. The collective self-defense, it is not just the defense of self but also the allies too. It means the Japan can be pulled into the wars where the United States interests are involved, or United States has been participating. So what is the issue over here? The Japanese development, if you observe, it is majorly due to its pacifist constitution, where it was able to focus its resources on the economic development in the post-World War II scenario. Now in this context, the opinion can be this. The Japan Japan has to give much importance to the stability in East Asia, and in the existing circumstances, Japan can solve its issues with China bilaterally. But showing this assertiveness can sandwich the economy and growth of the Japan between the aspirations of United States and also the aspirations of China in the Pacific. So that's what is we need to conclude. That's what is my opinion is. And next is this is the article which I have explained to you. Now the major criticism about Make in India is the existing indigenization plans with regard to the defense. They are not being aligned with the Make in India, and the Navy has taken up the first step to align its indigenization plan with Make in India. And next, Investment Protection Pact to avoid the offshore this particular cases, etc. India is trying to bring in this bilateral investment protection agreement, and also it is about to bring in bilateral investment treaty with United States, which can boost the investments to India and also increase the trade from $100 billion to $500 billion. That's what is expected from this. So this is about today's articles. There are no much important articles today, so that's why I have highlighted all the important. And the Indo-US nuclear deal, this year we are expecting a question on that. Try to have a deeper understanding of that issue. And I am going through your answers which you wrote on Madrasas, and yes, it's very good. And improve your English grammar, because tenses are really weak for the students who are presenting the answers. Try to work on your tenses. And thank you very much. All the best. Bye bye.